Hello YouTubers! Happy St. Patrick's Day! As you can see, I'm celebrating. I'm wearing green. And in order to make this day a lot more special, I will teach you how to make an amazing Irish coffee. Now, I have been to a lot of places and I have ordered this drink in a lot of places. But nobody does it right. I will teach you how to make the best Irish coffee. So, you're in for a treat. Now, the Irish coffee is not that it is very difficult to make. In fact, it is quite easy. The difficult thing about Irish coffee is that you need a lot of ingredients to make it taste good. If you have all these ingredients, which are not very easy to find, you will have a great Irish coffee. So, if you're ready, let's begin. As you can see, we have everything we need right here. First of all, you need an espresso machine. If you do not have an espresso machine, you cannot continue. Now, you will also need whipped cream. To be quite honest, I prefer the kind that comes in the one that's not spray. You will also need coffee, good coffee, and I mean the espresso coffee. I usually trust Starbucks coffee. Just be sure that it says bold in the tag. It is even better if you grind the coffee at the moment that you're preparing this drink. If it's a fresh grind, it will taste a lot better. And finally, you will also need sugar. Now, you pretty much obviously have sugar at home, so no problem on that one. You will also need whiskey. Now, try to get the Irish whiskey. I prefer Jameson, I think it's the best one. Don't use Scotch whiskey, it will taste a little different. So the best whiskey to do this drink is Irish whiskey. You will also need a lighter or matches, okay? The first step for making this drink is to make the espresso shot. So the first thing that we're going to do is grind the coffee beans. If you don't already have some espresso coffee beans grinded, go and grind them. Be sure to grind them to an espresso grind, which is a fine grind, but not too fine. If you make it too fine, you will only clog your espresso machine. So it has to be fine grind, but don't make it like powder. Just a little less than powder is excellent. Now that you have your grinded coffee, we will make first the espresso shots. For a regular size Irish coffee, I recommend doing just one thick espresso shot. If you go with 2 shots of espresso, it will be too bitter. And Irish coffee is supposed to be sweet, not bitter. Okay? We will make first the we will make the espresso shot first, and I'll explain why in just a second. Now we have our espresso shot. You can know if it's a good espresso shot because good espresso always has this this thin layer of what's called coffee cream. It's a little bit of foam, and you know it's a good shot when you get that. We have our espresso, and we're gonna keep it right here for a little while. Before we do that, you need to put some sugar in it. Actually, two teaspoons will actually do the trick. 1, 2, and shake it. We're going to set the coffee aside for a little bit, and we're going to continue with the rest of our things. Okay, here's a good part. Now we are going to do the Irish part. Grab your whiskey, and you're going to pour a bit. You are going to pour a bit of the whiskey into whichever place you're going to be serving your coffee. I prefer this kind of mug. Try not to use a regular coffee mug because they are too big and you'll end up with a very big Irish coffee. So use either this one or a glass of wine that also does a trick, okay? So we're going to pour a little bit into here, not too much. Okay. Oh, it smells great. It smells really great. Okay. Remember, it has to be Irish coffee in order to taste better. Okay, now here comes the tricky part, and here is a part where you're going to need practice, okay? What we're going to do with our espresso machine, let me see if I can get it, alright, is that we're going to use this little pivot right here in order to make steam, okay? We will use it to make steam and to heat the whiskey. Now, you're probably wondering why we made the coffee first. Because we're going to use the steam, and when you turn on the steam of your espresso machine, more often than not, it will burn the coffee if you make the coffee afterwards. So it is important that first you do the coffee and you have it safely placed over here. If you're making 3 Irish coffees, make coffee for 3 Irish coffees. So we're going to heat the whiskey for about 15 seconds with the steam. Okay, so it's very hot now. The whiskey is very hot. So what you do is that you use your matches or your lighter and get it close and light it up. As you can see, it is now, the whiskey is on fire. Okay, I don't know if the camera can see that. There's a flame coming out of the mug right now. Okay, so what you're going to do now this is a tricky part. This is what makes Irish coffee an art. Okay. You're going to start moving the Irish coffee. You move it in order for oxygen to get in into the whiskey to keep the fire going. Now, if you stop moving the whiskey, the fire will just extinguish. So you have to keep moving it in circular motion, and the flame will keep going. Now, if you want your Irish coffee to be really strong and to have lots of alcohol in it and to be, you know, very, very strong, you're going to stop doing this very soon. Now, if this kind of coffee, you want it to be subtle, if you don't want it to be so strong, you will keep on doing this until most of the alcohol has evaporated, okay, with use of the flame, okay? You have to be very careful because usually the mug gets extremely hot. So that's good enough. We let it sit for a little while and the flame extinguishes by itself. Now what we're going to do is to add the coffee that we prepared earlier. Always leave a little space wherever it is you're preparing this, a little space for the whipped cream. Grab a little of your whipped cream, generous portion, okay, and you're going to add more sugar to it. You can also substitute sugar with equal or sweet and low or whatever, okay? Okay, so you're gonna drop in again 2 teaspoons of sugar. We are going to use the steam from the machine, okay? So you're going to put the flask right here and you're gonna drop some steam in to make the cream a little hot and to make it a little less thick. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to start shaking it. Okay, keep on whipping it until you have a fairly consistency like this. Keep on whipping until you get something like this, okay, which looks a lot looks kind of liquid. And finally, what you're gonna do is that you have your coffee here. So what you're gonna do is that you will pour the cream on top of the coffee, but you're gonna have to do this very slowly, okay? Try not to mix the cream with the rest of the coffee, okay? You can garnish with a little, with a cherry or something like that. I usually don't like to do that. You're all set, you're done. Okay, so now we are done with our Irish coffee. All we have to do is try it and see how we did. Very sweet, extremely good. Alright, happy St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy.